These new videos contribute to a critical portrait of Diddy in the documentary, which we can report tonight has now jumped to #1 for Netflix shows in the U.S.
Rapper and executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, titled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching?
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
The exclusive video also shows Combs in Harlem greeting fans.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got it. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath.
You're a public person as well, and there was one instance in Harlem, and his reaction when those people
Went away.
Got in
the car and said, I feel like I need to wash, like I'm dirt. That was, it shows you his character.
was that the reason for including it?
Yeah, I mean, and what's the odds that you would do that in front of the camera?
50 Cent teased his Diddy documentary during Sean Combs' federal trial on his Instagram, just to give you an idea of the level of petty we're dealing with here. While the world was watching Diddy fighting for his life, the timing wasn't coincidental. This isn't just another celebrity feud or social media drama. What we're witnessing is a masterclass in calculated warfare, where 50 Cent has turned his personal vendetta into a profitable film.
The question for both of you, 50 first, why this project, why now?
Well, we waited until after the results of the trial to release the project, but I started like almost 5 months before I was able to find Alex, and finding an Emmy Award-winning showrunner and director is detrimental to the project being really well put together.
You realize 50 Cent hasn't had a film on Netflix before this Diddy documentary. That's crazy to me. But the deeper story here reveals something crucial about accountability in hip hop and how sometimes you need someone a little crazy to go all out so that the culture can have a little bit of accountability.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
To understand 50's Diddy documentary move, you need to see the pattern. He systematically dismantles his targets using their own weaknesses against them. He turns personal grievances into trending documentaries, right? 50 Cent has been building studios recently, right? And doing all the power shows, all the TV that he's done in the past few years. But in order to see the true level of pettiness that 50 Cent has, all we have to do is look back at Rick Ross and the Officer Ricky campaign. You know, Rick Ross built his whole persona around being a drug kingpin. He literally took the name of a drug kingpin and used it as his own. 50 exposed Rick Ross and his past as a corrections officer. He turned all his street credibility into a punchline. But you know, the genius of that move wasn't in just revealing that he was a corrections officer. It was how he weaponized it. He made that corrections officer reputation on Rick Ross stick forever. And then there's Ja Rule. 50 Cent ended Ja Rule's career. The beef lasted for years. And in fact, it's probably still active right now. 50 relentlessly trolls Ja at every opportunity, but this wasn't random hate. This was going back to their days in the street when they were a lot less famous. 50 identified Ja's vulnerabilities, his attempt to cross over in the mainstream, every diss track, every public appearance. He even adopted Ja Rule's signature singing style as his own after making fun of Ja Rule for being a singing rapper, something that someone else benefited from, Aubrey Drake Graham, but that's another story. Ja Rule went from commercial success to almost complete obscurity. This is a pattern here. 50 Cent studies his targets and finds the one thing that will unravel their entire public image. And with Diddy, he's found the perfect storm. But there's something deeper driving this vendetta.
Do you think that hip hop culture was on trial as much as Sean Combs was?
Look, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip hop is fine with his behavior.
Rick Ross and Ja Rule, it was business. With Diddy, it's personal, and that changes everything. When you're willing to risk being seen as vindictive, petty, or even obsessed with Diddy, you're not playing the same game anymore. You're fighting for something that matters more than your street credibility. I don't know. Does making a documentary, is that worse than talking to the authorities? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's basically laying out Diddy's whole personality and everything he might have done wrong, including washing his hands after interacting with strangers on the street, which I've seen celebrities do this all over the place. I don't know why 50 thinks this is so, like, crazy. If you've been out in the street shaking hands and kissing babies, sometimes you might be a little bit of a germaphobe, especially if you've ever gotten sick. I actually had the opposite experience. I was in a pharmacy and I ran into a celebrity that I admired and I shook his hand. Why didn't I think that he was actually there because he was sick and he was filling his prescription? Well, what preceded the next few days was one of the illest flus I've ever had. I felt like absolute garbage, all coming from shaking a celebrity's hand. But here's what makes Diddy's documentary so strategically unique.
He beat the case. To me, that what he was charged with, that's a victory. Like that, to end up with 50 months when you had when your life on the line is a victory. You know, but to be the only person that's incarcerated for hiring and transporting male prostitutes is different.
Yeah, life on the line.
You know, 50 is leveraging the cultural moments at their peak effectiveness. When Cassie's lawsuit dropped and the federal investigation began, 50 saw an opportunity that went beyond his business in the film industry. He's positioning himself as a producer right now. So he's doing all types of productions all over the place, trying to fill airtime. He's got a network on TV that just plays a Quentin Tarantino marathon of Kill Bill and various films, his 50 Cent Action Network. So he's looking for content, but he's also taken this moment in this post-Me Too era to position himself as a voice of accountability in hip hop.
There's no one else being vocal. So you would look at it and just say, because that mind your business, or let me not say nothing about nothing, or those things, it would allow the entire culture to register as if they're for that behavior.
So the timing of this documentary and its release, you know, after Diddy's trial has ended, you would think like Diddy had kind of fallen out of the news cycle. It wasn't as hot online, but the fact that it pops up here now, kind of in the midpoint of him serving his time behind bars, it's drawing maximum public interest and cultural relevance. It's the profit potential of this. And Netflix, of all servers, that just bought Warner Brothers, which is crazy in itself. You got a streamer that's now buying a traditional media empire, which kind of shows you how far we are into this whole digital landscape. But Netflix, huge company, is now in business with 50 Cent because of Diddy. So now 50, after this movie, can easily take his films to Netflix and let them have a first look, you know, and actually get out to a bigger audience, which is kind of crazy in itself. But that just goes to show you, as we know with 50 and the vitamin water deal, when it comes to business, 50 is second to none in hip hop. Like this dude is making so many calculated chess moves. It's crazy. But the main selling point of this is the controversy. You know, 50 understands that controversy sells, you know, but controversy with a moral angle, saying he's protecting the victims of Diddy, that sells even better. That's going to make headlines all over the place. That's why he's on morning TV doing interviews, you know, with Robin Roberts. But now let's get into the real motivation behind 50's calculated assault of Diddy. Here's what most people don't know about why 50 is willing to burn everything down for this. The reason 50 is willing to be this ruthless, this underhanded, this stabbing. It's about family. This is why he's invested in Diddy's downfall. Think about it. Diddy had a relationship with the mother of 50's youngest son. And according to the allegations, she participated in those infamous freak-offs that actually led him to serving time in a federal penitentiary. His child's mother was part of those freak-offs. So that's not business at all. That's personal. And 50 sees it as that. That's what's motivating this. And I don't know if a lot of people even realize that, because this 50 saying that it's about the fact that Diddy hit on him, or the fact that Diddy wanted to take him shopping back in the day. No, I don't even think he was that serious with Daphne, but I think he really didn't calculate how far 50 would go to prove a point. But so it's all starting to make sense now, right? The relentless trolling, the perfect timing, the willingness to be seen as petty. 50 is getting justice in his mind for something that would cut a man to his core. When your child's mother becomes part of someone's alleged criminal enterprise, you don't just move on. You must destroy them. It's basic. This personal part transforms the whole story. He's a father whose family was violated by someone the culture protected as untouchable. The documentary is a weapon in itself. And the crazy thing is, like, Diddy's team has come away and said, where did you all get this footage? This footage is stolen. We didn't sign releases on this footage. But a lot of people are unearthing the fact that Diddy sometimes, as we know, has a lot of people around filming him. He's obsessed with filming himself. And so a lot of these moments that normally a person wouldn't record, they actually get into the documentary. But there's a key. The young person that Diddy hired to do this actually probably was a disgruntled employee. So then you have somebody who feels like they weren't paid enough. And what happens to that footage when you haven't been paid the full amount? You keep that footage and you do what the hell you want with it. It goes to the highest bidder. And guess who that was? 50 Cent. So 50 has footage that Diddy actually created for himself, which some of the footage was shaky. It was very odd to watch at times. In the beginning, I was like, was this shot on a cell phone? Why is this? Why haven't they stabilized this in post? But Diddy was obsessed with recording everything. So now that obsession is literal embarrassment and possibly putting himself under more public scrutiny. He called the project Sean Combs, The Reckoning. I think that's a very interesting title. Netflix is betting big on this documentary because they know 50's track record of delivering compelling, controversial content. And from the parts of it I saw, it is very well put together. He got some people in there that maybe were around Diddy's orbit, and they all were willing to come there and speak freely about the man that is Sean Combs. So now they get an opportunity to be on Netflix in such a public spotlight. So this isn't random beef. It's strategic. This is war, and it's fueled by the family violation. Don't forget that. This ain't just a hip hop beef. This ain't beefing on wax, writing songs. It seems that when rappers pass a certain age, they start getting more methodical with how they beef with each other. This is just another sophistication of that rule. But 50's going to gain a lot of support from the woman audience. He's going to also gain support from victims advocacy groups. And, he's going to be seen as a hero of some kind. But there is a cost. It's been said that 50 Cent received a bouquet of flowers that he assumes is from Sean Combs, allegedly, and he's taking it as a warning. That's kind of crazy to even think of, really. Let's just hope this doesn't get any crazier than it already is, and that no one gets hurt, obviously. But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, sign up for the Patreon. This is Faucette Media.